My name's Shona Marsh and I make contemporary silverware as well as bespoke jewellery, and I work as a freelance jewellery designer in the trade as well. I set up my business in 2005, straight after I graduated from Birmingham School of Jewellery. I took a 2-year HND jewellery and silversmithing course. When I set up my business, I didn't have any money. I'd just finished college, so I was in a position where I couldn't really afford to rent a workshop or buy any tools, so I set up my business from a spare room at home. As I didn't have any money and I had to pay rent, etc. and bills, I tried to find jobs within the industry that could help support me financially. And I worked in a project called the Equals Project, which was run by the Jewellery Industry Innovation Centre. And it was a 6-month placement part-time with a jewellery manufacturer within Birmingham. And I worked as a jewellery designer doing new product development. As well as that, I also worked for a designer maker on the bench, cleaning up her castings and general bits and bobs for her. All the while I was doing this, I was also doing various other part-time jobs that were completely irrelevant, but they paid the bills and they kept money coming in. And I made my work and sat at my bench in the evenings and at weekends and whenever I could to get new products made up and get new designs done. As well as that, I obviously felt that I had to get out there and do shows and sell my work so that I could start building up my business. But shows are expensive, and as much as I tried, the part-time work I was doing just wasn't enough to pay for everything. So I decided to use a credit card to pay for my initial set of shows. It was a huge gamble, didn't feel very comfortable doing it, but it got me into International Jewellery London and several other shows that year, and I started to get new customers and my business at that point started to take off. I also decided that later on in 2006 to join the Design Factory, which was an East Midlands based arts group. They provided business mentoring, funding and support, and with their help I applied to Origin in 2007 and they provided me a small grant towards the stand cost. And then using that sort of idea, I decided it'd be a good idea to apply for shows where I could actually get a free stand so that I could get my work out there with a minimum cost for myself. So in 2008, I applied for the Goldsmith Company Graduate Award and was successful and was awarded a free stand at the show in 2008 and a cash prize of £1,500. What I've always tried to do is make new work, so whether I haven't been able to afford the silver, I will have made a model in a base metal and have it plated and photographed so that people can see what I can make and handle it, and if they want to buy it then they can their deposit and the price that I price it up at is for silver, and that allows me to make it in silver and also get a profit to then put back into the business. The business development grant was a different way of getting funding. It wasn't for creative businesses, it just was for start-up businesses. It was match funded, so I had to apply for a total of 5,000, of which I had to provide 2,500, and they provided me 2,500 once I'd spent the £5,000. I had to do a complete business plan and say what I was going to make, what value it would have, where the money was going to go. It was quite detailed, but it really made me think about my business from a financial point of view rather than just a creative point of view. It actually was brilliant for my business. I did International Jewellery London again, I did Goldsmiths again, all with very new products. And the following year I managed to double my turnover from the comeback of gaining all the new customers and getting the new work out there. And there's sort of quite a few benefits and pitfalls to the way that I've done things. I wouldn't really advise using credit cards to fund a business. It has left me with debt that I'm still paying off, but at the time it's been worth the gamble. I was very fortunate that using the money that I could have from the credit cards to pay for shows and pay for new work has actually been very beneficial for me. It's just, I think I'd have preferred to have a loan or have had funding straight from the start, but that was very difficult for me to obtain. I've gained a lot of knowledge about finding funding. So when I applied for the business development grant, it made me realise that normal avenues of funding might not be very successful. You have to go out there and find unusual avenues and look at business side of things rather than just going through the creative arts avenues. You know, look at local councils, look at what they've got in terms of funding new businesses and accessing local resources. One of the other sort of pitfalls I had was working from home for such a long time. It really, although it's great in terms of you don't have to spend much money, and if you're working from home you can also offset your household bills against your tax and things like that, have a great benefit, but it can also leave you quite isolated because you're not in a creative environment. So it's really important that you do join as many arts organisations and still get yourself out there to try and keep connected with what's going on in your industry. I'd say my top tip was to invest every single penny that you earn back into your business for at least the first 5 years. It's really, really important that you have to make those sacrifices to get your business off the ground, and you need to just literally throw as much money as you can at it because you need new work, you need to get out there and you need to do shows, and then once you get out there and build that base, you then can see the money coming back into your business, but you just have to be prepared to just invest everything that you have. One of my other tips is never say no to any opportunity that comes your way. I've had some really difficult commissions and difficult jobs that at the time I've just thought it's not really worth it, I'm not getting paid enough, but at the end of the day they've given me a huge wealth of experience and they've opened doors to jobs that have been brilliant and just really, really beneficial to my business. I'd say the other tip is to try and access as much funding as possible and try and keep yourself out of debt if you can, because it'll be what will break you. Try and have a really good cash flow, even if it means scrapping work or selling work off a bit cheaper just to get the money back into the business. It's okay to do that.